The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was built to make everyone feel small. Its ceiling rose so high that clouds sometimes formed near the top. Its walls were made of white stone that glowed with soft light. 12 platforms floated in a circle, each one holding a judge from a different alien species. In the center, far below them, stood a single human. Ho kept his back straight and his face calm. He had served as Earth's ambassador for 7 years. He had faced angry politicians, hostile reporters, and difficult negotiations, but he had never faced anything like this. The Council will now hear the matter of species classification for the beings known as humans, announced the voice of the central computer. It echoed through the massive chamber like thunder. Ho looked up at the 12 judges. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had skin that changed colors with their emotions. One was made entirely of crystal. Another looked like a floating cloud of purple gas. They were all watching him with expressions he could not read. The High Judge sat on the tallest platform. Her name was, and she belonged to the species. She was beautiful in a strange way, with silver skin and large black eyes that seemed to hold all the stars in the universe. Her voice was soft like music, but her words were sharp. "Ambassador," she said, "your species has been part of the galactic community for only 30 years. In that time, we have heard many strange stories about humans, stories of violence, stories of war, stories of killing." "With respect, High Judge," Ho said, "every species has a history of conflict." "No," replied, "not every species. They have never known war. The Luma have never raised a hand against another being. They have no concept of murder." She leaned forward slightly. "But humans seem to be different." A murmur went through the council. Ho could feel their eyes on him, studying him like he was some strange animal in a cage. "We are not asking for your history to be judged," continued. "We are asking a simple question. We have received reports that humans can kill other beings with nothing but their bare hands. No weapons, no tools, just flesh and bone. Is this true?" Ho was careful with his answer. "Humans are capable of defending themselves, yes. Like any species, we have natural abilities that help us survive." "Natural abilities," the voice came from another platform. It belonged to Judge, a massive being covered in thick armor plates. His species, they were known as warriors. Even he sounded doubtful. "I have seen humans. You have no claws, no fangs, no venom, no armor. Your bodies are soft and weak. How can such creatures be dangerous?" "Our strength comes from our minds," Ho said. "From our training, from our ability to adapt." Laughter rippled through the council. It was soft laughter, musical laughter, the kind of laughter that came from beings who had never needed to fight for survival. Raised her hand and the laughter stopped. "Ambassador, you must understand our concern. There are species in this galaxy who wish to classify humans as a predator species. Do you know what that means?" Ho knew. A predator species had no rights. They could not own property. They could not travel freely. They could be hunted, captured, or killed without consequence. It was a classification meant for mindless beasts, not thinking beings. "That classification would be wrong," Ho said firmly. "Humans are peaceful. We seek trade, friendship, and cooperation." "Then prove it," said. "Prove that these stories are just stories. Prove that humans cannot kill with their bare hands." Ho felt his heart sink. He could not prove that. It would be a lie. "Or," continued, her black eyes fixed on him, "if humans truly are capable of such violence, then show us evidence. Real evidence. Not stories, not legends. Show us proof." "Why?" Ho asked. "Why do you need proof?" The crystal judge spoke now. Its voice was like glass breaking, sharp and clear. "Because if humans are truly as dangerous as the stories say, we must know. We must prepare. We must decide how to deal with your species before it is too late." "And if we cannot kill with our bare hands?" Ho asked. Smiled, it was not a kind smile. "Then you are harmless, weak prey." She paused. And prey does not receive protection under galactic law. Prey can be taken, used, owned. The meaning was clear. If humans were dangerous, they would be feared and restricted. If humans were harmless, they would be exploited and enslaved. There was no good option. "You have 30 standard days," announced. "Bring us evidence of human lethality, or we will classify your species as we see fit." Ho wanted to argue. He wanted to explain that humans were neither monsters nor weaklings. They were something in between, something the galaxy had never seen before. But he knew his words would not be enough. "I understand," he said simply. The council session ended. The platforms floated apart, carrying the judges away to their private chambers. Ho was left standing alone in the center of the great hall, surrounded by glowing white walls and silence. His assistant, a young woman named Lee Sara, was waiting for him outside. She had watched the entire session on a screen. Her face was pale. "What do we do?" she asked. Ho did not answer immediately. He walked past her, his footsteps echoing in the empty corridor. His mind was racing, searching for a solution. "We need evidence," he finally said. "Real evidence, something they cannot ignore or dismiss." "But where will we find that?" Sora asked. "We cannot just demonstrate. We cannot hurt anyone to prove a point." "No," Ho agreed, "we cannot." They walked in silence for a while. The corridor led to a balcony that overlooked the capital city of the Galactic Council. Ships flew through the air like metal birds. Towers of glass and light rose toward the sky. It was beautiful, peaceful, and completely alien. "There must be something," Sora said quietly. "Somewhere, somehow, there must be evidence that already exists." Ho thought about her words. Evidence that already existed. Something that had already happened. Something that was recorded, documented, and undeniable. He did not know it yet, but across the galaxy, in a forgotten prison at the edge of known space, 3 humans were about to provide exactly the evidence he needed. They just did not know they were being watched. Orbital Station 7 floated in the darkness between stars. It was far from any planet, far from any trade route, far from anyone who might care what happened inside its walls. It was a place where the galaxy sent its problems and forgot about them. The prison was shaped like a giant metal wheel, spinning slowly to create gravity. Inside, 2,000 prisoners lived in cells stacked like boxes. They came from 40 different species, and most of them would never leave. Park had been counting the days since she arrived. Today was day 1461. 4 years. 4 years since her cargo ship was seized by pirates. 4 years since she and her crew were sold to this place. 4 years of survival. She stood in the corner of the exercise yard, watching the other prisoners. Her eyes moved constantly, tracking threats, nodding patterns, remembering faces. It was a habit she had developed in the Republic of Korea Navy, and it had kept her alive in here. Was 38 years old, but she looked older. Her black hair was cut short, and there were new lines around her eyes. Her body was thin but strong, hardened by years of careful training in secret places where the cameras could not see. "Captain," a voice said behind her. She did not turn around. She knew the voice. "What is it?" Moved to stand beside her. He was 34, tall and solid, with the careful movements of a man who knew exactly what his body could do. Before he was captured, he had served in the Special Forces. Now he served a different kind of duty. "They are getting restless," he said quietly. "I counted 15 of them in Block 7 this morning. They usually stay in Block 3. Nodded slowly. There were the dominant gang in 7. They were creatures 8 feet tall with 4 arms that ended in blades made of bone. Their exoskeletons were like armor, and their eyes saw in all directions. In the prison hierarchy, they were at the top. "They are planning something," said. It was not a question. "Probably. The warden brought in new prisoners last week. Luma, 17 of them." Closed her eyes briefly. The Luma were small, peaceful beings with skin that glowed with soft light. That skin was valuable, very valuable. Some species believed it had healing properties. Others simply wanted it for decoration. "Where are the Luma now?" she asked. "Block 5 or block?" Of course they were. The prison computer had probably assigned them there randomly, not knowing or caring that it was sending them to slaughter. That would come for them. It was only a matter of time. "We should talk too," said. They found Doctor in her cell, surrounded by scraps of paper covered in drawings. She was 29, the youngest of the three, with quick eyes and quick hands. Before she was a prisoner, she was a ship medic. Now she was something else entirely. "Close the door," said without looking up. Closed it. The cell was small, barely large enough for a bed and a toilet, but had turned it into a library. The walls were covered with sketches of alien bodies, charts of their organs, notes about their weak points. "You have been studying the," said. "For 6 months," finally looked up. Her eyes were calm, focused, like a surgeon about to begin an operation. "Their exoskeleton is strongest on the back and chest, but there are gaps at the joints. The elbows, the knees, the neck where the head connects to the body. Strike there with enough force and the shell cracks." "How much force?" asked. "More than a normal human punch, but a proper technique with the weight of the whole body behind it should be enough," pointed to one of her drawings. "The eyes are another weakness. They have 4 of them, but the 2 on the sides are for motion only. The 2 in the front are for detail. Blind those, and they lose their ability to track fast movement." Studied the drawings. She had been teaching martial arts to her crew since the beginning, adapting techniques from Hapkido and Taekwondo to work against alien bodies. But knowledge was just as important as skill. You had to know where to hit. "They are moving toward Block 5, she said. "The Luma are there." His expression did not change. "I know. If they attack, we will have to fight." "I know." Leaned against the wall. "We have avoided trouble for 4 years. Maybe we should keep avoiding it. The Luma are not our responsibility." Understood his thinking. It was logical, smart. The 3 of them had survived by staying invisible, by being seen as weak and harmless. Starting a fight with them would change everything. But remembered why she had joined the Navy in the first place. It was not for adventure or glory. It was to protect people who could not protect themselves. "We did not start this," she said quietly, "but if it comes to us, we will finish it." That night, the 3 humans trained in an empty storage room deep in the prison's lowest level. There were no cameras there. The warden did not care what happened in the dark places. Led them through forms and drills, strikes, blocks, throws, locks. They practiced on each other first, then on a training dummy made from stolen materials. They had done this every night for 4 years, preparing for a moment they hoped would never come. "Faster," said as practiced a combination of punches. "They are fast. You must be faster." Increased his speed. His fists blurred through the air, each strike precise and powerful. Practiced something different. She stood still with her eyes closed, her hands moving slowly through the air. She was visualizing new. She was seeing alien bodies in her mind, finding the weak points, planning exactly where to strike. "What if there are too many?" Asked between combinations. "Then we use the environment," said. "Walls, floors, pipes. Everything is a weapon if you know how to use it." They trained until their bodies ached and their hands shook. Then they returned to their cells separately, taking different routes, leaving no pattern that the cameras might notice. Lay on her bed and stared at the ceiling. Somewhere above her, stars were shining. Somewhere far away, Earth was spinning. She wondered if anyone remembered them. She wondered if anyone was looking for them. She did not know that across the galaxy, Ambassador Ho was searching for proof of human lethality. She did not know that the prison's surveillance system recorded everything, even the things the warden did not watch. She did not know that she was about to become the most famous human in the galaxy. She only knew that tomorrow might bring violence, and she had to be ready. In Block 5, 17 Luma huddled together in their cells, their bodies glowing softly with fear. They had heard about They had heard what happened to weak species in this place. They did not know that 3 humans had already decided to protect them. They did not know that those 3 humans were far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. The next few days would change everything. The riot began at midnight. Park was awake when she heard the first screams. She was always awake at midnight, her body trained to be alert during the most dangerous hours. She rolled off her bed and moved to the door of her cell. Through the small window, she saw chaos. Prisoners were running in all directions. Alarms were flashing red. And in the center of Block 5, a group of warriors were cutting through everything in their path. There were at least 20 of them, their blade arms slashing through the air. They were heading toward the Luma cells. Did not hesitate. She pressed the emergency release on her door and stepped into the corridor. Was already there, his face hard and focused. Appeared a moment later, her eyes scanning the situation. 22 said, more coming from Block 3. The Luma asked. Still in their cells, they have not reached them yet. Made her decision in less than a second. We move now, you take the left, stay behind me and call out weak points, I will take the center. They ran. The first did not even see coming. It was too busy trying to break open a cell door. She came in low, under its swinging blade arms, and drove her palm into the gap between its neck and body. The impact traveled through the crack in its exoskeleton. The creature made a clicking sound and collapsed. Reached the second at the same time. He grabbed one of its blade arms and twisted, using the creature's own momentum against it. The joint snapped. The screamed. Finished it with a strike to the side of its head where the shell was thinnest. Eyes called out as a third turned toward them. Front 2. Adjusted instantly. She leaped forward, her fingers extended like spears and struck both front eyes in one motion. The stumbled backward, blind and confused. She followed with a spinning kick to its knee joint. The leg buckled. The creature fell. More were coming now. 5, 10, 15. They clicked and hissed, their blade arms raised. They had expected easy targets. They had not expected this. Formation said calmly. The 3 humans formed a triangle, backs to each other, facing outward. It was a formation they had practiced 1,000 times in the dark storage room. Now they would test it for real. They attacked all at once. Blocked a blade arm with her forearm, redirecting its force to the side. She stepped in close, too close for the long blades to reach her, and drove her elbow into the creature's thorax. She felt the shell crack under the impact. The gasped for air through damaged lungs. Behind her was a machine of destruction. He caught a blade arm and used it to pull the off balance, then threw it into 2 others. All 3 went down in a tangle of limbs. He stamped on the neck of the first one. Bone cracked. Was precise and careful. She moved like water flowing between attacks, always finding the gaps. When a swung at her, she ducked under its arm and pressed her thumb into a spot just below its jaw. The creature froze, paralyzed. She moved on to the next one. Wall shouted. Understood. He grabbed the nearest and threw it against the metal wall. The impact was tremendous. The creature's shell shattered on one side. Pipe called out. Saw it, a maintenance pipe running along the ceiling. She jumped, grabbed it, and swung both feet into an approaching. The force sent it flying backward into its companions. The battle continued. 340 cameras recorded everything. They captured breaking us arm at 3 different joints in 2 seconds. They captured lifting a creature twice his weight and slamming it into the floor. They captured finding pressure points that no alien had ever known existed, dropping warriors with single touches. They were strong, but they were used to fighting with their blades. They did not know how to handle opponents who came inside their reach. They did not know how to defend against strikes that targeted their hidden weaknesses. One by one they fell. More arrived from other blocks, 20 more, then 10 more. The battle lasted 16 hours. In that time, the three humans did not stop. They fought with their hands, their feet, their elbows, their knees. They used walls and floors and pipes. They used their own bodies against them. When a blade arm came too close, grabbed it and redirected the strike into another. When a warrior tried to flee, chased it down and ended it with a chokehold adapted for creatures with armored necks. When three attacked at once, she dropped to the ground, swept their legs and finished them before they could rise. The Luma watched from their cells, their glowing skin flickering with terror and amazement. They had never seen anything like this. They had never imagined that beings without claws or armor could be so deadly. Finally, it was over. Stood in the center of Block 5, breathing hard. Her arms were covered in cuts from the blade arms. Her body ached in 100 places, but she was alive. Around her lay 43 dead warriors. Leaned against a wall, his chest heaving. "Is it done?" "It is done," said. Moved among the fallen, checking each one. 43 confirmed kills, 17 minor injuries between us. She paused. "The Luma are safe." As if hearing her words, the Luma cells began to open. The small, glowing creatures emerged slowly, their large eyes fixed on the three humans who had saved them. One of them, the oldest, approached. It spoke in a soft, musical voice. Why did you protect us? We are nothing to you." Looked at the creature. She thought about the question. She thought about all the years of training, all the nights of preparation, all the reasons she had become a soldier in the first place. "Because we could," she said simply. "Because someone had to." The Luma bowed its head. Its skin glowed brighter for a moment, a sign of deep gratitude. Above them, cameras continued to record. The warden was watching now, his massive crustacean body trembling with something that might have been fear. He had always thought of humans as harmless, soft, weak. He had been very, very wrong. He reached for his communication device. He had to report this. He had to tell someone what he had just witnessed. He did not know that his report would travel through channels, from one official to another, until it reached the desk of someone who knew exactly what to do with it. He did not know that the footage from his cameras would soon be seen by every species in the galaxy. He did not know that three humans had just changed everything. In Block 5, sat down against a wall. The adrenaline was fading and exhaustion was taking its place. Sat beside her, was already treating their wounds with supplies stolen from the medical bay. "What happens now?" asked. Closed her eyes. "Now we wait." "For what?" She did not answer. She did not know. But somewhere deep inside, she felt that something had changed. Something important. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were truly capable of. And nothing would ever be the same. Ambassador Ho had not slept in 3 days. The deadline was approaching and he still had no evidence. His office was filled with reports, studies, and historical documents, but none of them were enough. The council wanted proof, real proof, and he had nothing. His assistant, Lee Sora, entered his office looking exhausted. "Ambassador, you have a message." "I do not have time for messages," Ho said without looking up. "This one is different." Sora placed a small device on his desk. It arrived through an encrypted channel. No sender identification, but the encryption is military grade. Ho finally looked at the device. It was a standard data chip, the kind used for transferring large files. "What is on it?" "I do not know. The encryption requires your personal code." Ho hesitated. Anonymous messages were often traps, but he was desperate. He entered his code. The device activated. A holographic display appeared above his desk, showing a video file and a short text message. The message was simple. "This is what you need." Ho played the video. At first, he did not understand what he was seeing. It looked like a prison, corridors, cells, aliens running in panic. Then he saw and his blood went cold. Then he saw the humans. He watched for an hour. He watched Park break limbs with perfect technique. He watched throw warriors twice his size. He watched find weak points that should have been impossible to know. When the video ended, Ho sat in silence for a long time. Ambassador, Sora asked carefully, "What is it?" "Evidence," he said quietly, "real evidence." The next day, the Galactic Council assembled for the final hearing on human classification. The Great Hall was full. Representatives from 100 species had come to watch. This was the moment that would decide humanity's fate. High Judge looked down from her floating platform. "Ambassador, your deadline has arrived. Do you have the evidence we requested?" Ho stood in the center of the hall. His heart was beating fast, but his voice was steady. "I do, High Judge." "Then present it." Ho activated a holographic projector. The massive display appeared in the center of the hall, visible to everyone. "Before I begin, I want to explain what you are about to see. This footage was recorded at Orbital Station 7, a prison at the edge of known space. 3 humans have been imprisoned there for 4 years. They were captured illegally by pirates and sold to the facility." A murmur went through the crowd, raised her hand for silence. 14 days ago, Ho continued, a riot occurred at 7. A gang of warriors attempted to attack and kill a group of Luma prisoners. The 3 humans intervened. He pressed a button. The video began to play. The council watched. They watched move through the like wind through grass, striking with precision and power. They watched throw a warrior into a wall so hard that its shell shattered. They watched find pressure points that paralyzed her enemies with a single touch. They watched for 2 hours. The full footage was 16 hours long, but Ho had edited it to show the key moments. When it ended, the hall was completely silent. Silver Face had gone pale. Her large black eyes were wide with something that looked like fear. How is this possible? Humans have trained in unarmed combat for thousands of years, Ho explained. We have developed hundreds of fighting systems. These 3 individuals are not special soldiers or genetic modifications. They are ordinary humans with military training. Millions of humans have similar skills. Another judge spoke. It was the massive warrior. His voice was quiet, which was unusual for his species. "I have seen the fight. They are among the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Their blade arms can cut through metal. Their shells can stop projectile weapons." He paused. "Those 3 humans killed 43 of them, without weapons." "Yes," Ho said. "How many methods did they use?" asked. Ho had anticipated this question. "We analyzed the footage with help from human martial arts experts. They identified 47 distinct killing methods employed during the fight." The number echoed through the hall. 47. 47 ways to kill with bare hands. The Crystal Judge spoke next. "This cannot be natural. These humans must be modified in some way, enhanced." "They are not," Ho said firmly. "I can provide medical records, genetic scans. These are standard humans with standard biology. What you see is the result of training, knowledge, and determination." 47 methods, repeated slowly. "And you say ordinary humans can learn these things?" "Yes. In fact, some humans begin training as young as 5 years old. By adulthood, they can perform the techniques you saw automatically, without thinking." Silence fell again. A representative from a small, timid species raised its hand. "Ambassador, you said these humans protected the Luma. Why? What did they gain?" Ho smiled slightly. "Nothing. They gained nothing. They did it because they could, because they chose to protect those who could not protect themselves." He paused. "That is also a human trait. We do not only destroy, we also protect." The council deliberated for several hours. Species argued with each other. Some demanded that humans be quarantined immediately. Others wanted to destroy Earth before humans could spread further. A few, like the argued for respect and alliance, finally called for silence. This council has seen evidence that humans are capable of extreme violence, she announced. Evidence that cannot be. The question is, what do we do with this knowledge? She looked at Ho. Ambassador, your species is clearly dangerous, but the footage also showed restraint, discipline, protection of the innocent. This is unexpected. Ho nodded. Humans are capable of great violence, High Judge, but we are also capable of great kindness. We choose which path to follow. We have always chosen. Studied him for a long moment. Her expression was unreadable. Finally, she spoke to the council. We cannot classify humans as simple predators. They are too intelligent, too adaptable, too controlled. But we also cannot classify them as harmless. They are clearly, demonstrably lethal. She raised her hand. I propose a new classification, one that has never been used before. Humans will be designated as an apex adaptive species, peaceful by choice, dangerous by capability. They will have full rights under galactic law, but with certain restrictions on military expansion. The council voted. The result was close, but the motion passed. Ho let out a breath he had not known he was holding. Humanity was safe, for now. As the council chamber emptied, approached Ho. The massive looked at the human with something that might have been respect. Your people are impressive, he said. My species understands warriors. We have fought for millions of years. He paused. But I have never seen warriors like those three humans. They were not fighting to kill. They were fighting to protect. That is a rare thing. Ho nodded. Will you support us in the future? Considered the question. The respect strength, but we respect honor more. He extended one massive hand. We will support you, Ambassador. May your enemies never learn what you are capable of. Ho shook the hand. Thank you, Judge. As he left the great hall, Ho made a decision. He would find those three humans. He would bring them home. And he would make sure the galaxy understood exactly what humanity stood for. The evidence had been provided. The message had been sent. But the story was not over yet. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. Within hours of the council vote, the footage from Seven had leaked. Someone had it, shared it, and now every species in the galaxy was watching. Every news network, every data stream, every communication channel was playing the same images over and over. 3 humans, 43 dead, 47 killing methods. The reaction was immediate and violent. Crowds gathered in the streets. They were frightened. They had never known violence. Their world had no predators, no wars, no conflict, and now they had seen what violence truly looked like. They are monsters, one said to a news camera. Those images will haunt me forever. How can we share a galaxy with such creatures? The reaction was different. They were warriors. They respected strength. But they had never imagined that soft, clawless creatures could destroy their finest fighters. This is impossible, a leader declared. The footage must be fake. No species without natural weapons could defeat us. But the footage was not fake. Experts from a dozen species had analyzed it. The conclusion was always the same. It was real. Every kill was real. Ambassador Ho found himself at the center of a storm. Every day, representatives from different species demanded meetings with him. Some wanted to negotiate alliances. Others wanted to threaten. A few wanted to understand. How do you live with it? Asked a representative from the Luma species. Her glowing skin flickered nervously. How do you live with that capability inside you? Ho thought carefully before answering. Every human carries that potential, he said. But we also carry the choice of whether to use it. Most humans live their entire lives without ever harming another being. We go to school. We raise families. We create art and music and science. Violence is not our purpose. It is our last resort. But it is always there, the Luma said, waiting. Yes, Ho admitted. It is always there. That is why we train ourselves, not just our bodies but our minds. We learn discipline, control. We learn when to fight and when to walk away. The Luma was quiet for a moment. Then she said something unexpected. My people want to thank you. The 3 humans at 7 saved 17 of our children. We will never forget that. Ho smiled. That is the other side of humanity. We protect, we defend, we sacrifice ourselves for strangers. It is a strange combination, the Luma said. Violence and kindness, death and protection. Perhaps, Ho replied, but it is who we are. Not everyone was so understanding. A coalition of species had formed, calling themselves the Safety Alliance. They demanded that humans be restricted, controlled, and monitored at all times. They held protests outside the human embassy. They spread fear through the media. Today it is 43, their leader announced. Tomorrow it could be 43 of us, or 400, or 4,000. Humans are too dangerous to be allowed freedom. The debate raged for weeks. The Galactic Council held emergency sessions. Species threatened to leave the council if humans were not contained. Others threatened to leave if humans were treated unfairly. Through it all, Ho worked. He gave speeches. He met with leaders. He answered questions that seemed endless. Are humans planning to conquer the galaxy? No. Can humans be stopped if they decide to attack? That depends on how many humans are attacking. What would happen if all humans decided to become violent? That would never happen. But if it did, the galaxy would be in serious trouble. The honest answers did not always help. Some species appreciated the truth. Others used it to spread more fear. Finally, High Judge called a special session. The Great Hall was packed once again. Everyone wanted to hear what she would say. We have debated for 30 days, announced. We have heard arguments from every side, and now we must make a final decision about the human species. She paused, her black eyes scanning the assembled representatives. The evidence is clear. Humans are capable of extreme violence. 3 ordinary humans killed 43 warriors with their bare hands. They used 47 different killing methods. They showed no hesitation, no mercy to their enemies, and no fear. The hall was silent. But, continued, the evidence also shows something else. Those 3 humans did not start the violence. They did not seek it out. They spent 4 years in that prison without harming anyone. They only fought when innocent lives were at risk. They only killed to protect. She turned to face the Safety Alliance representatives. You say humans are too dangerous to be free, but danger without aggression is not a crime. A sword in its sheath threatens no one. She turned to face Ho. You say humans are peaceful by choice. The evidence supports this, but your choice could change at any time. Ho nodded. He could not deny it. Took a deep breath. After much consideration, this council affirms the new classification, Apex Adaptive Species. Humans will have full rights under galactic law. They will be free to travel, trade, and settle throughout the galaxy. A murmur went through the crowd. The Safety Alliance representatives looked furious. However, continued, certain conditions will apply. Human military vessels will be limited in number. Human colonies will be subject to regular inspection. Any human found committing violence against another species will be judged by a joint tribunal, not just human courts. Ho considered the conditions. They were not ideal, but they were fair. We accept, he said. Nodded. Then it is decided. From this day forward, humans are recognized as a unique species in the galaxy. You are not predators. You are not prey. You are something else entirely. She looked directly at Ho. Ambassador, I will admit something. When I first saw the footage from 7, I was terrified. I have never felt fear like that before. My species does not understand violence. She paused. But then I watched until the end. I watched those 3 humans stand guard over the Luma survivors for hours. I watched them tend to wounds they could have ignored. I watched them comfort creatures they had no reason to care about. Her voice softened. That is when I understood. Humans are not monsters. They are guardians. They are wolves who chose to protect the sheep instead of hunting them. The session ended. The crowd dispersed. The decision was made. Outside the great hall, Ho stood on the balcony overlooking the capital city. Sora joined him, her face tired but relieved. "We did it," she said. "Humanity is safe." "For now," Ho replied. "But this is just the beginning. The galaxy knows about us now. They know what we can do. Some will fear us. Some will respect us. Some will try to destroy us. What do we do about that?" Ho watched the ships flying through the sky. "We prove them wrong. We show them that humanity is more than violence. We build, we create, we help." He turned to Sora. "And we bring our people home. Those 3 humans at 7 saved us all. It is time we saved them." Sora nodded. "I will make the arrangements." As she left, Ho remained on the balcony. He thought about the future. He thought about the challenges ahead. He thought about what it meant to be human in a galaxy that had never seen anything like humanity before. The classification was official. The decision was made. But the real test was just beginning. Somewhere in the galaxy, 3 humans waited in a prison cell. They did not know that they were heroes. They did not know that they had changed history. But they were about to find out.